Imagine getting paid just for sharing your thoughts on products and services you use every day. With Survey Junkie, it's that simple. Click on the link in the video description to discover how you can start earning today by taking surveys.
Senior Tories last night appealed to voters not to risk sleepwalking into a one-party socialist state. In a shift of strategy, a string of Conservative figures issued blunt warnings about the danger of delivering a landslide victory to a Labour Party that has said little about its plans for power. The new approach is designed to convince Tory voters flirting with reform that they risk handing untrammeled power to avowed socialist Keir Starmer unless they return to the Conservative fold. It came as Sir Keir failed to rule out a host of tax rises last night as he squirmed over his past support for Jeremy Corbyn. Rishi Sunak yesterday insisted he had absolutely not given up hope of winning the election. But the change of course reflects growing concern among Tory strategists about the party's failure to dent Labour's massive poll lead during the first 3 weeks of the election campaign. Some polls suggest that Conservatives could be left with fewer than 100 seats. Private Tory polling suggests many voters believe there is no risk in lending their votes to protest parties such as Reform, because Labour is on course to win regardless. But Defence Secretary Grant Shapps said granting Labour a supermajority would hand unchecked power to a party whose plans are so vague, you have no idea what they actually want to change. And former Attorney General Sir Geoffrey Cox warned, if you believe the polls, we are sleepwalking into a one-party socialist state. The consequences would be horrific, not just for the Conservative Party and for the country, but also for Labour because having an opposition is important. The switch in tactics came as Mr. Sunak hinted at a new campaign strategy on Tuesday when he warned voters not to hand Labour a blank check. But the message was amplified by Mr. Shapps yesterday. The Defence Secretary, whose Welwyn Hatfield seat could fall to Labour, suggested the Tories were fighting to prevent a 1997-style Labour landslide. He said that to ensure proper accountability you don't want to have somebody receive a supermajority, adding that if Labour's power was in some way unchecked, it would be very bad news. Mr. Shapps warned against a blank check approach, allowing someone to do anything they wanted, particularly when their particular set of plans are so vague, and they say change, but you have no idea what they actually want to change to. Miriam Cates, of the new Conservative group of right-wing MPs, warned that a left-wing government on steroids would be free to tear up border controls and impose woke gender rules. Asked if the Tories had conceded defeat, Mr. Sunak said, no, absolutely not.